techno producers are about as abundant as grains of sand on a beach, but there are only a few who can claim to have stylistically made their mark on the music. Marc Leclerc, aka Akufen, from Montreal, is considered to be one of these few. Even his first releases on labels such as Traum or Perlon carried his unmistakable signature. By the time his album My Way came out on Force Inc. in 2002, micro-sampling was the word on everybody's lips, and Akufen the name at the centre of the movement. In a similar vein to Matthew Herbert in the late 90s, Akufen's acrobatic sampling style created a groove and funk that had till then been unheard of, and that he did with extreme precision and a passion for detail. Akufen's sound collages, made up of innumerable micro-samples pasted together, not only caused a wave across dance floors worldwide, but also left a lasting impression on the critics.
The micro-sampling thing didn't really happen, I would say, right away. I mean, the idea was there. I wanted to experiment with sound and with editing sample, but I didn't know exactly where I was going to go with it. The first release on Trapeze, the first psychometry, had a bit of that in it, but it was still closer to my techno roots, and so. And I think it's not much later, but I would say around the third release in Europe, which was the release on Perlon, trying to remember the name, Quebec Nightclub. It's been a while. Quebec Nightclub. This is, I think, where I really launched the micro sampling concept aesthetic to its max, to its fullest. And then with the album My Way, it really expanded and became like the main direction of my work.
De plus en plus de citoyens, les jeunes en particulier, se désintéressent de la politique.
Often when I'm asked, what are you using? I'm like, what's the point of telling you? I mean, what, you want to make the music I'm making? No. Try to make your own. Try to, find your own tools, discover and also build your own tools, This is where you're going to find your strength, your personal signature, your personal touch. Otherwise, you're going to sound like everybody else. Everybody sounds like Moritz von Oswald. Everybody sounds like Mike Ink. Everybody sounds like, you have a few important people that shaped up the sound of this scene. And I have tremendous respect for these guys. But to all the other artists, the younger guy out there, it's over now. Do something different, Do what's close to yourself, close to your heart, I mean, it's so much easier to be personal than try to emulate something. I mean, I think a person who's going to copy a Rembrandt is going to sweat way more than someone who's going to paint his own painting, with his personal touch, his personal signature. I think it is hard to imagine inventing or discovering something new, but I think it's a misconception. I think it's a false idea people have in their mind, because every time we come to a point where there's a big movement in terms of art that's been developed. I think after a while, we are under this impression that everything has been done and nothing else can be done anymore. And I think it is maybe right for the moment when we think it, but I think that nothing has been done really. I mean, we've just scratched the surface. I think the reason why maybe these days we may be thinking that everything has been done is because of the really wide variety of technologies that we have right now at the tip of our fingers. And technology gives this impression, I think, that everything has been done. And I think that's where it is wrong. I think the thing is, we should shift in a totally different direction. I mean, I'm not saying say no to technology, not use technology, because I still use technology. But I think we should use technology as a tool, but maybe not as the key element to create and make music. And then if we start dissociating ourselves a bit from technology and look away from it, I think there are chances that we're going to find some new avenues and some new ideas, because there are ideas growing everywhere. You know, it's crazy to think that everything has been done. I mean, people are focusing so much on the quality of the sound, that they tend to lack on the soul of the music. I always say, you know, like, electronic music, it's not because it's electronic that it has to sound so well. Because when it sounds so well, to me, it's like when a song sounds so clean and so digital and so perfect, it's like walking into a house made of white tiles. You know, like you're afraid of walking, you're afraid of like dirtying, of putting dirts everywhere, you know, like it's something very clinical and sterile about this environment that I don't like, you know. And to me, this is exactly the same. I think personally is that people will have to start thinking a little further than the clubbing scene. Because I think this is maybe what's also limiting also a lot the imagination of people, because I think sometimes I feel a lot of musicians are limiting their potential, their capacity of creating, because the format of the club is very hermetic, very limited in itself. You know, you gotta make music at a certain pace, music to dance, music to, you know, like for a certain time of the night, for the highlight, for the big crowd, for the smaller crowd, for the, you know, there's a lot of there's a lot of rules, and in art, I mean, there shouldn't be any rules, you know. I mean, you put the rules yourself. So this is, I think, where it will have to change. Musically speaking, I definitely want to go and try something new. Of course, it's not something that's gonna happen overnight. I mean, the thing is, people are more and more hard with criticizing, and they're expecting always like monumental albums, you know, every time out of artists. But they don't understand that there are, I think, there have to be transitional music also, that are, in my opinion, are as important as the important albums. Anyways, you don't create a classic, you know, you don't intend to create a classic. Classic takes years to take its place, you know, and to become a classic. And so right now I feel I'm in a period of transition, I mean, personally and musically, and on different levels. And I used to. I mean, I've been fiddling with instruments all my life. I've been playing piano. I've been playing guitar. I mean, anything that comes into my hand, which is making sound or music, has been always of great interest for me. So lately, I decided I want to get out a bit of the computer, because computer can be very claustrophobic after a while. I mean, you lose your life there, pretty much. Your social life. I mean, we work on the computer. We, watch movies on the computer. We chat on the computer. We play video games on the computer. I mean, spend 16 hours a day on the computer. So I've decided to take my head out of this box and get some music. Start taking some music lessons, some piano lessons.
Psychometry. Psychometry.
Well, the thing with me is that before electronic music came into the picture, I was doing other things. I mean, I've done all my studies in visual arts. I'm primarily illustrator, painter, and this is what I was doing in the first place since I was little. And so music came second. So there was I was always submerged in art, and always was surrounded by artists all my life. So yes, for sure, art is something very important for me. And art is a big word that scares a lot of people. When you say I'm an artist, people think you're full of yourself, that you're pretentious, and no, it's not. Art to be an artist is something, is a lifestyle. It's not something that you do in your pastime. I mean, because that becomes a hobby. But this is not a hobby. This is my life. I mean, this is not all. I mean, and that's the thing. When it started becoming like a work for me, when I started touring and I started releasing records and started making money out of it, there's a lot of pressure that came with that also. A lot of expectation from people, and this is where I started to reconsider the whole thing. I was like, this is now how I've been picturing my life as an artist, and this is why now I feel it's important for me to do something else, to go in other directions, because I don't want to live in the comfort of what I've been gaining from what I've done in the last few years, because it could be easy. I could, tour senselessly, as a DJ or as a live act, and make money, and I mean, it's easy. And when you fall into that, when you trip and you fall into that, you can lose your life, So after a while, you have to really rethink the whole thing and really take some distance and really think about where you're going to go eventually, because this is not going to last forever.
Yeah.